7 Secret Campaigns You Didn't Know About, The Silent War. Welcome back to the series Israel-Iran, Deconstructing the Comprehensive Confrontation. In our last episode, we explored 5 profound reasons that ignited and sustained the tense relationship between these two Middle Eastern powers, from the ideological transformation of 1979 to nuclear ambitions and the role of great powers. Today we delve into another aspect, perhaps even less known but incredibly dangerous, the shadow war. This isn't a conflict characterized by large-scale battles or public declarations, but rather a silent confrontation unfolding in the shadows of intelligence operations, targeted assassinations, infrastructure sabotage, and cyberattacks. This war, designed to weaken the adversary without triggering full-scale conflict, carries immense risks of unintended escalation. Do you think you have a complete grasp of the Israel-Iran tensions? Today we'll pull back the curtain to uncover 7 covert campaigns you might not know about in this silent war. Join me as we delve into the complex world of hidden confrontations. Operation 1. The assassination of Iranian nuclear scientists, a sharp edge of sabotage. The first and perhaps most shocking covert campaign is the series of assassinations targeting Iran's leading nuclear scientists. Since the 2000s, at least 5 nuclear scientists and several engineers linked to Iran's nuclear program have died in mysterious attacks, often involving firearms, magnetic bombs attached to cars, or unexpected explosions. The most prominent example is the assassination of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh in November 2020, a figure Western intelligence considered the father of Iran's nuclear weapons program. He was killed in a sophisticated ambush near Tehran, with many intelligence sources suggesting the use of a remote-controlled machine gun. While Israel has never officially claimed responsibility, Western intelligence agencies and analysts widely believe that Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, is behind these assassinations. The objective is to slow down or even neutralize Iran's nuclear program by eliminating key mines. This method offers the advantage of avoiding an overt military attack, thereby preventing the risk of an all-out war while still achieving the strategic goal of undermining the adversary's nuclear capabilities. The consequences of these assassinations are significant. They not only instilled fear and demoralized Iranian scientists, but also forced Tehran to intensify security measures for its nuclear facilities and personnel. However, the long-term effectiveness of this campaign remains a subject of debate. Some analysts argue that it genuinely slowed Iran's program by several years, while others contend that it merely caused temporary disruptions and spurred Iran to be more determined in achieving its nuclear goals, even prompting them to train more specialists to compensate. Regardless, these assassinations have become a chilling symbol of the shadow war, demonstrating Israel's willingness to act decisively to protect its national security. Operation 2. Stuxnet and cyberattacks, the invisible war in cyberspace. Alongside assassinations, another weapon employed in the shadow war is sophisticated cyberattacks, most notably the Stuxnet virus in 2010. Stuxnet was no ordinary virus. It was an incredibly sophisticated cyber weapon specifically designed to sabotage industrial control systems, specifically the centrifuges used for uranium enrichment at Iran's Natanz nuclear facility. This virus infiltrated Natanz's computer systems, causing centrifuges to spin abnormally fast or slow down, damaging thousands of them, and causing significant delays to Iran's nuclear program. Stuxnet is considered the first known example of a cyber weapon capable of inflicting significant physical damage in the real world. While no nation officially claimed responsibility, cybersecurity and intelligence experts widely agree that it was a collaborative project between Israeli intelligence, Unit 8220, and the U.S. National Security Agency, NSA, part of the classified Operation Olympic Games. Beyond Stuxnet, there have been numerous reports of other cyber attacks targeting Iran, including disruptions to network infrastructure, assaults on government websites, and intelligence gathering through cyberspace. These attacks share a similar objective to the assassinations: to slow down Iran's nuclear program, sow internal chaos, and send a warning message. Iran has not been idle in the cyber war either. Tehran has developed its own cyber attack capabilities and has been accused of launching attacks against Israel and U.S. allies. Targets have included civilian infrastructure, financial institutions, and government computer systems. However, the scale and sophistication of Iran's attacks are generally considered not to match those of Israel and the U.S. The cyber warfare front is a new, less visible but potentially devastating arena, demonstrating how this confrontation has expanded into every technological domain.
Operation 3: Mysterious attacks on Iran's nuclear and military facilities. Unusual accidents. More frequently than publicly acknowledged, Iran's critical nuclear and military facilities have suffered a series of mysterious accidents and explosions. This marks the third covert campaign in the Shadow War, aimed at inflicting physical damage and disrupting Tehran's strategic projects. These incidents are often described by Iranian state media as industrial accidents or technical malfunctions, but their repetitive and targeted nature leads analysts to believe they are organized acts of sabotage, most likely carried out by Israel. One of the most prominent examples is the major explosion at the Natanz nuclear facility in July 2020, which severely damaged an advanced centrifuge assembly plant. This incident is believed to have significantly slowed down Iran's ability to produce new centrifuges. Earlier in 2011, a large explosion at a missile base near Tehran killed General Hassan Tehrani Muqaddam, considered the architect of Iran's ballistic missile program. Additionally, there have been other fires and explosions at petrochemical plants, arms depots, and sensitive research facilities across Iran. The objective of these attacks is twofold. First, to inflict direct physical damage, destroying critical equipment and infrastructure to slow down the progress of Iran's military and nuclear programs. Second, to create significant psychological pressure, demonstrating Israel's ability to penetrate Iran's most secure systems, sowing insecurity and eroding confidence in the regime's protective capabilities. These attacks often require sophisticated coordination between human intelligence, HUMINT, to gather internal information, and high technical capabilities to execute the sabotage. While not an overt military attack, the damage they inflict can be equivalent to or even greater than a limited airstrike. Iran's continuous need to contend with these accidents indicates that Israel maintains consistent and significant pressure in the Shadow War, forcing Tehran to allocate enormous resources to protect its strategic assets. Operation 4: Israeli airstrikes in Syria, the anti-Iran containment ring. As Syria plunged into civil war, a new front in the Shadow War emerged, where Israel conducted hundreds of airstrikes, rarely claiming public responsibility. This marks the fourth campaign, focusing on preventing Iran from establishing a permanent military presence near Israel's border and interdicting arms shipments to Hezbollah and Lebanon. Israel has carried out over 400 airstrikes in Syria since 2017, targeting weapons depots, military facilities, and convoys transporting military equipment believed to belong to or be used by Iranian forces and their proxies. The primary objective of these attacks is to prevent Iran from creating a land corridor or encirclement from Iran through Iraq and Syria to Lebanon, where Hezbollah could directly threaten Israel. Israel is particularly concerned about Iran's transfer of precision-guided missiles to Hezbollah, which are capable of inflicting significant damage on Israeli strategic targets. Airstrikes usually occur at night, targeting locations believed to have an IRGC or Shiite militia presence or arms shipments in transit. Although Syria is a sovereign nation, Israel justifies its attacks as acts of self-defense, aimed at preempting potential threats before they become more severe. This has created a constant state of tension in Syrian airspace, where Syrian air defense systems, and sometimes even Russian ones, must contend with Israeli fighter jets. Russia, despite its large forces in Syria, often turns a blind eye to Israeli airstrikes, provided they do not directly threaten Russian military personnel. This campaign demonstrates Israel's willingness to act unilaterally to protect its security, even if it risks escalating tensions with Iran and its allies. It also underscores Syria's strategic importance in this confrontation, transforming the country into a complex proxy battleground where multiple parties have overlapping and often conflicting interests.
Operation 5: Covert Economic and Political Pressure. The war beyond the battlefield. Beyond direct military and intelligence operations, another significant part of the shadow war involves Israel and its allies, particularly the United States, exerting covert economic and political pressure on Iran. This is the fifth campaign, often less visible but profoundly impactful on the Iranian regime's financial capabilities and internal stability. While overt economic sanctions are imposed by governments, Israel is believed to have engaged in clandestine activities to enhance their effectiveness or cause additional economic disruptions. These activities include close cooperation with U.S. and European intelligence agencies to identify and undermine Iran's covert financial networks, money laundering operations, and illicit oil export channels. The objective is to cut off the financial resources Iran uses to fund its nuclear and ballistic missile programs, as well as its network of proxy forces. This might involve tracking financial transactions, freezing overseas assets, and pressuring international companies doing business with Iran. On the covert political front, Israel is believed to have sought to incite internal instability in Iran by supporting opposition groups or stirring discontent among minority communities. Such operations often involve disseminating information, encouraging protests, or exploiting regime weaknesses to sow discord. The goal is not direct government overthrow, but rather to undermine its control and resources, thereby forcing Tehran to focus on internal issues rather than expanding regional influence. However, these campaigns also carry significant risks. They can be perceived by Iran as blatant interference in its internal affairs and a justification for increased retaliatory actions. While not directly bloody on the battlefield, this covert economic and political warfare can inflict substantial damage on both sides, affecting civilians and fostering a deep atmosphere of animosity that is difficult to resolve through traditional diplomatic means. Operation 6: The Red Sea War. The geographical escalation of the conflict. In recent years, the shadow war between Israel and Iran has expanded to a new and dangerous front: the Red Sea and crucial maritime shipping lanes. This marks the sixth campaign, demonstrating the geographical escalation and diversification of confrontation methods. Reports indicate that Israel has conducted covert attacks on Iranian oil tankers or vessels suspected of transporting weapons to Syria and other proxies in the region. These attacks often involve magnetic mines or other explosive devices attached to the hull, causing damage without leaving clear traces of a large-scale military strike. Conversely, Iran has also been accused of retaliating by attacking vessels linked to Israel or Israel's allied nations in the region. Notably, after the Iran-backed Houthi group in Yemen began targeting commercial ships in the Red Sea in response to the Gaza conflict, Iran is believed to have provided intelligence and technical support to enable the Houthis to carry out more sophisticated attacks. Although Iran does not directly attack, its tacit approval and provision of capabilities for a proxy force to disrupt the world's most vital maritime route illustrates a new form of covert warfare. The objectives of these maritime attacks are diverse. For Israel, targeting Iranian vessels aims to disrupt Tehran's arms supply chain and exert economic pressure. For Iran and its proxies, attacking shipping aims to disrupt global trade, put pressure on the U.S. and its allies, and demonstrate their extended reach. The expansion of the conflict to the Red Sea carries significant risks. These maritime routes are the lifeblood of global commerce, and any major disruption could have severe global economic consequences. Furthermore, attacks on commercial vessels could lead to intervention by international naval powers, further complicating the conflict and increasing the risk of direct clashes between parties. This is a clear testament to how the shadow war constantly expands its operational area and becomes increasingly dangerous, transcending conventional boundaries. Operation 7. Intelligence Gathering Operations. The invisible eye in enemy territory. Finally, and forming the bedrock of all other covert campaigns, is the unrelenting intelligence gathering operation. This is the seventh reason. A silent war unfolding every second, every minute, to acquire critical information about the adversary's capabilities, intentions, and secret activities. Both Israeli Mossad and Iranian MOIS, IRGC intelligence agencies are believed to be highly active within each other's territories and in third countries. For Israel, the primary objective is to gather intelligence on Iran's nuclear program, military facilities, proxy networks, and potential attack plans. This requires the use of various methods, including human intelligence, HUMINT, recruiting agents or informants within Iran, as well as signals intelligence, SIGINT, intercepting communications, and imagery intelligence, IMINT, utilizing satellites and drones. Reports have repeatedly mentioned Israel's infiltration into Iranian computer networks to extract sensitive information. Conversely, Iran also strives to collect intelligence on Israel, particularly regarding its military operations, intelligence agencies, and critical infrastructure. Iran is also believed to seek to recruit individuals within Israel's Arab communities or those sympathetic to the Palestinian cause for intelligence purposes. These operations also include monitoring Israeli activities in Syria and neighboring countries. The success of assassination, sabotage, and cyberattack campaigns often depends on the quality of the intelligence gathered. Misleading or incomplete information could lead to disastrous failures or even an unintended full-scale war. Therefore, the intelligence war is the heart of the shadow war, a relentless race to understand the adversary better than they understand themselves. While not directly bloody, the tension and risks in this war are extremely high, because every secret revealed can change the strategic landscape. We've just pulled back the curtain to explore 7 covert campaigns that have shaped the silent war between Israel and Iran. From audacious assassinations targeting nuclear scientists, sophisticated cyberattacks like Stuxnet, mysterious explosions at military and nuclear facilities, relentless Israeli airstrikes in Syria, to covert economic pressure campaigns, the Red Sea conflict, and the unending intelligence race, each of these campaigns is part of a much more complex picture than what we typically see in the news. This shadow war clearly demonstrates one thing: both Israel and Iran are willing to use every available tool, from high technology to traditional covert operations, to weaken their adversary and protect their interests without an overt declaration of war. However, it is precisely this covert nature that carries immeasurable risks of escalation, as a miscalculation or an excessive retaliation could swiftly push these two nations into a full-scale conflict, with consequences not limited to the region. Understanding these invisible battles is key to grasping the full complexity of the Israel-Iran relationship and the geopolitical risks it poses to the world. Now, we'd like to hear from you. Among the 7 covert campaigns we've just analyzed, which one surprised or concerned you the most regarding its potential impact? In your opinion, can this shadow war continue indefinitely, or will it eventually erupt into an overt conflict? And what do you believe the international community should do to contain or mitigate the risks from this silent war? Your perspectives are incredibly valuable. Please share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below. Your contributions motivate us to continue delivering deep and multifaceted analyses. If you found this content informative, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming podcast episodes. Thank you for listening. We look forward to having you join us in the next installment of our Israel-Iran Deconstructing the Comprehensive Confrontation series.